Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we getting on? Welcome to a brand new Fallout 76 news video. So today we've got information on the next couple of updates coming to the game, including a few new quests and a couple of new cryptids as well. So let's have a look, shall we? Okay, so yeah, Bethesda have shared a new Inside the Vault blog post, and yeah, we've got to look at the next couple of updates coming to Fallout 76. The next one, which is due next week, is only a little one. It's mostly focused on bug fixes, and there's a little bit of quality of life stuff in there as well. And the one after that, which is scheduled for June, I believe, it looks like anyway, usually is about then, is going to be a bit bigger, and we'll have a bunch of new content. So let's have a look at what they've got for us. Okay, so who's that cryptid? Well, that gives you a clue as to kind of the theme of what would appear to be at least the first half of this year. Heavily cryptid orientated. So, a whole load of overview there. Upcoming updates. So, first up, the update next week. So, Tuesday, April 18th at 10 AM Eastern. So, that'll be mid-afternoon, probably about 3 o'clock-ish UK time. We're going to bring Fallout 76 offline on all platforms to apply our latest update. This update will be a smaller patch focusing on minor bug fixes and performance optimizations rather than bringing new content to the game, so we expect patch notes to be smaller than you're used to seeing. So, yeah, this coming Tuesday, the mid-quarter, I suppose, update, the small update that comes between the big ones, that Bethesda do fairly regularly, is coming in next week. So a little bit of back-end stuff, a little bit of bug fixing, that sort of thing, as they often do in between two of the major updates. So that's on Tuesday, and I will have a look at the patch notes on Tuesday when those go up, and we'll have a gander at what's happening and what interesting bits and pieces there are there when the time actually comes. So that one's happening next week. And yeah, a couple of links there on details on where you can check out the patch notes if you would like to. Incidentally, as always, link to this post down below if you want to check it out for yourself. So this is a bit more interesting. Once in a Blue Moon. This is the update that will be coming in June, most likely. It'll be the summer update. That's usually when they have it, fairly early in June. And we're finally getting a look at what content we are going to be getting for the summer. It's, well, I have mixed feelings and opinions on some of this, but it's wildly speculative, so let's have a look at what we actually do know for now. So, who's that cryptid? 2 new cryptids with perk card-like descriptions, Gotta catch them all or something. The Blue Ridge Caravan is back and needs your help with their expanding business, which is cool. This is a pretty cool little faction. We haven't had any major updates in probably a couple of years at this point, so definitely nice to have a little bit more stuff for them. They're a cool little faction. It's nice to see a little bit of new stuff about them. Definitely happy to see a bit there. This summer, our Once in a Blue Moon update will bring 2 new cryptids, public events, side quests, rewards, and a daily ops mutation, and more. So that's a very, very, very high-level overview of what will be coming in the update. Obviously, we'll be getting more information nearer to the time. You don't have to wait quite that long, however. Players with a copy of 76 on Steam will be able to test out new content early in our public test server starting April 20th, so that's a week today, which is a scary thought in and of itself. So we look forward to reading all your feedback in the official Discord details there, and if you do want to join the Discord and you haven't already, then links can be found on Bethesda's website, so Bethesda.net. Have a rummage around and you should be able to find that in the community section. So, introducing the Blue Devil. So this is the first of our new cryptids. As we can see, it's basically a werewolf, but apparently with a bit of a blue theme. I don't know, maybe it's a reference to some other cryptid or a story that's around, but it basically looks like a werewolf. So, far off in the darkness of the tree line, a pair of glowing eyes reflect the moonlight in an inquisitive stare. The eyes hover around the base of the tree before raising slowly. Your skin begins to crawl as you see hooked claws reach out and grip the fallen tree as it raises up, towering above you. It lifts its long muzzle towards the night sky. Behind its rows of glistening needle-like teeth, a strange howl fills the air around you with an almost human-like snarl interlaced between its horrifying song. So yeah, basically it's a werewolf. So they're introducing that. Judging by the size, the picture we've got here and the description there, I'm guessing it's going to be a werewolf that is approximately the size of a sheep squatch. Which is cool. So no details on where and what else might be going on around this, so I'm guessing that much like the sheep squatch, it tends to be something you'll just encounter as a randomly spawning enemy or random encounters, stuff like that pops up around the map in various places. So new beastie to run into and to fight. Curious as to whether or not it'll be always legendary like the Sheep Squatch is. Hopefully, more legendary opportunities is generally a good thing. So we'll see. But it would make sense as it's a new cryptid, it's a unique, rare creature, so that's quite cool. So, jumping away from the cryptid for a moment, we have our first of the new public events that's being discussed here. So it's called Safe and Sound. Blue Ridge has renovated the Middle Mountain cabins to be their latest and greatest Brahmin pit stop, but they can't seem to keep the local critters at bay. The repeller speaker system they use to repel creatures and keep their Brahmin safe has been damaged. To retake the pit stop and create a safe haven for their Brahmin to rest, they will need your help. Clear out the creatures and defend the repeller, and Blue Ridge Caravan will reward you handsomely for your assistance. So, a new public event, much like the usual ones that pop up by the top of the hour or 20 past 22, taking place at the Middle Mountain Cabins. So there's a couple of things I'm curious about on this, because the Middle Mountain Cabins are basically up the hill towards the east of the White Spring. So it's a fine location. It's not used for a great deal so far, so it'd be nice to see a little bit more going on there. However, Blue Ridge Caravan stop, middle of the mountains, crossing between the Maya Cranberry Bog side and the forest side of the Savage Divide. Raises a major issue, because the road that runs over the mountains there is the very same road that they say for riding shotgun is not practical for getting Brahmin up and over the mountains. The reason the pre-existing riding shotgun event takes place, which runs through the Big Bend Tunnel, cool event, cool rewards if you haven't checked it out, definitely worth a look. But the reason that goes where it does and runs through that tunnel is because getting Brahmin over the mountains is not supposed to be a good idea, a safe idea, an easy idea, etc, etc. It's just not practical. So that's why they go that way. So this kind of runs in opposition to that, which is a bit weird. I'm not sure if they're going to have some kind of explanation for why that's a good thing, or if it's just going to be a bit of an inconsistency there. Yeah, I'm scratching my head on that one a little bit, shall we say. I don't know how I feel about that. Still, new public event, I'm sure it'll be fun to engage with, and a whole bunch of new rewards and variety in that repeatable content, which is generally a good thing. So, back onto the topic of cryptids, the Ogua? I'm guessing? Looks like it looks like a dinosaur to me, to be honest. It's supposed to be a kind of turtle type thing, but it's kind of half turtle, half dinosaur. That's the vibe I'm getting. So, walking through the Cranberry Glade, a large, strangely shaped boulder catches your eye. Its edges are rough and sharp, the ground around it freshly disturbed. Through your countless adventures exploring the Cranberry Bog, you are fairly certain you've never seen a rock quite like it. With the butt of your rifle, you give it a good tap to see how sturdy it is. The sound that meets your ears sends your brain into investigative curiosity. That's a hard couple of words to say. That was not the sound of metal against rock. Before your mind can settle on an answer to this strange boulder, it begins to shake and groan. The ground around you rumbles, knocking you off your feet. You stare up in awe and terror as a massive, turtle-like creature rises from the ground before you. It's easily the height of 5 men, with deep-set eyes and a large hooked beak. You know what they say, curiosity killed the atom cat. So, it doesn't look, from this picture, like it's 5 times the size of a player, on account of the fellow in the back there. Although perspective, as I have harped on about on numerous occasions, is a bit weird in Fallout sometimes. That's not an exclusive thing to Fallout, but, topic of the moment. I quite like the look of this thing. It looks cool, it looks pretty fearsome, it looks like it's got very thick hide, even where it doesn't have kind of bony armour, for want of a better word on it. New cryptid, that's interesting. Obviously a new beastie. From the sound of it, judging by the size, if it is as big as this suggests, and is about 5 times the size of a person, that sounds like a set location. This whole description, in fact, makes it sound like the Cranberry Glade is a set location to encounter this particular world boss, I guess? I'm guessing it's not spawned as a result of nukes, because it certainly doesn't sound like it is here. Perhaps there's something that's halfway between, say, a world boss like Scotch Beast Queen, Earl, or the Ultrasite Titan, and, say, a Milo Queen, which is something you can run into in the Cranberry Glade, incidentally, so watch out if you're having a wander around there. But yeah, I'm guessing it's kind of closest to the Milo Queen side of things, maybe, because it sounds about the right size for that, and specific location-centric, but not nuclear spawning-centric. So, big new beastie to go and fight. As to whether or not we'll get new rewards and stuff, there's nothing mentioning it here, but that does seem like a likely outcome. So perhaps there's something unique to be had from fighting this thing. Perhaps it'll tie into something else. This is a very high-level early introduction of the thing, and we'll obviously be getting more info as the update approaches in June. So, moving on again, we're back to the Blue Ridge Caravan and Beasts of Burden. I'm not sure if this is going to be a public event or something else, but after a trade deal goes wrong, Luca Costa finds himself in need of some help. A group of local cultists has stolen his Brahman and cargo of makeshift explosives. His uncle Vinny will not be happy if he catches wind of it. Be extra careful not to disturb the local wildlife, however, as cultists have recently noticed strange rumblings in the woods nearby, so I'm wondering if these two will kind of go together, maybe. It sounds like it could be a public event, this. It could also be a one-off thing, which leads into what's happening in just a second, but I don't know. It sounds like it could be a good public event that could pop up every in those 20-minute slots, but we'll have to see, I guess. As the next bit is frankly kind of weird on Bethesda's part here. So, Costa Business Daily Quests. Love that heading. Loving the pun. However, daily quests, they kind of ain't, from the description here. So, resident grouch and taskmaster Vinny Costa, who can be found at the Blue Ridge Caravan Station East, the end of Big Ben Tunnel in Cranberry Bog, hasn't been happy with the performance of his employees lately, and he'd be happy to throw some caps at anyone willing to solve the problem. Players can learn all about what has the caravanner's boots stuck in the mud and collect some unique rewards along the way in a series of one-off daily quests. So which is it? Is it one-off or is it daily? Can't have it both ways. What I suspect is going to be the case, and it kind of implied here, is probably that you'll be able to do one quest one day, the next one the next day, the next one after that, and so on, for a week. So unlike other dailies, players will only be able to complete these series of quests once, 7 quests, but each has a unique Blue Ridge themed reward ranging from camp items to outfits. So nice, but you can only do them once, so new quests is good. Hopefully they'll be of a decent length, but dailies are usually really short, quick things, which makes it sound like maybe they won't be. Clarification required, I think, is my immediate feeling here, but as one-offs, if they're going to be short, yeah, great, it's lovely to have new quests and to have new things to do, but if they're going to be short and snappy and they're gone, it's not going to feel like it's a worthwhile update, to be honest. It needs to be substantial, and unless this is giving the wrong impression, which is entirely possible, but unless this is giving the wrong impression, then it feels like that's probably not going to be the case. So it'll be cool for what it is, but what it is not going to be enough, is the vibe I'm getting there. So, Unmasking the Myth is the last thing of the new stuff that we have here. Long-time players that completed content from all over 76's history may find a special side quest waiting for them after completing all of Costa's business quests, so presumably the ones above. Oh, of the Costa business quests. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Once you've completed those 7, if you've got certain quests from the history of 76 completed, the additional quest might come up. So I'm pretty sure that will come up for me. Obviously, a lot of questions here. I will dive into the PTS, play around with it, see what I can pull out, and hopefully answer your questions when I find out. So that'll be a week today that this will be dropping onto the PTS. So we'll give it a go. We'll try stuff out, and I will share information as and when I get it. But yeah, this is very vague, obscure, and I don't know. It could be more interesting than it sounds like, but it does sound like we're looking at 8 quests that will blast through reasonably quickly, and then they'll be done and dusted, and we won't do them again, unless you have to work a new character through the whole game. But lovely to have new content, but I'm hoping this is more substantial than it sounds, but I'm not really expecting it to be, and if it comes down the way it sounds like it's going to be, that's going to be underwhelming. So my hunch on a lot of this stuff, and what we haven't had a lot of word on either a roadmap or on story-based content yet for this year, which we are now crying out for. As great as endgame content and repeatable stuff is, and we absolutely need that, we also need something more substantial to sink our teeth into that's sort of new and story-based and faction-based and stuff like that. But my hunch as to the reason why we're not getting that at the moment is because they're kind of dialing things back for the launch of Starfield. Starfield will come out, there'll be a lot of emphasis on that, and then once Starfield and possibly its DLCs are done with, the pendulum might swing back a little bit, because, yeah, obviously they'll be working on Elder Scrolls 6 after that, but that's years off, so the pendulum will have its time to swing back. That's my feeling, so I'm concerned that we're going to get a bit of a down period until the back end of Starfield's major release schedule, but we'll have to wait and see. I mean, this is kind of unprecedented ground in a sense. Bethesda have never had a long-term multiplayer game like this that kind of drops into this situation, so we'll have to see what happens, but that would account for why we're not hearing a lot. It would also account for why we're only getting smaller bits of content for now ahead of Starfield, so we'll have to see. Bethesda aren't coming out saying anything, which is frustrating, to be honest, and definitely waiting to hear more. But, yeah, interested to see what the deal with this stuff's going to be. I'm looking forward to trying it out on the PTS in a few days, and, yeah, I will report back when we have more, so keep it here if you want to hear more, I guess. Okay, so the last bit of information on here, which is a bit shorter and sweeter, is the return of the Mothman Equinox seasonal event. So over at Point Pleasant, on the top of the hour, these things usually kick off. In fact, yes, it looks like it still is, according to this. You'll be able to head over to Point Pleasant and do the seasonal event. I wonder how that's going to interact with the mutated events. Whether or not mutated events... I'm guessing mutated events will step back because they come in alternating weeks, so it must be on a week off for the mutated events. That would make sense. But yeah, from Tuesday, April 25th, so that is a week on Tuesday, until May the 9th, so it looks like 2 weeks? Yeah, 2 weeks from a week on Tuesday. We'll have the Mothman Equinox back to do a seasonal event, which should be good fun. Hopefully they have new rewards, nothing here to suggest that they actually do, but... in fact, it looks rather like they don't have any new rewards for it, so judging by the fact that the ones listed on this are the same ones we've had since this first dropped just over a year ago, and it really didn't take long to get all the rewards out of this event, so desperate need for a refresh on the loot pools as well, and hopefully Bethesda are working on that, but we're in that kind of space at the moment, which is a little bit frustrating that the content we're getting is small, quick to blow through, or repeatable, which is great. We do need that stuff, but we also need the other stuff as well that we're not getting. And we're not getting enough refresh on loot pools and stuff like that, because people, particularly once they put a decent amount of time in, can clean a lot of this stuff out. When you look at Mothman Equinox, and you look at Invaders from Beyond, the Alien seasonal event, those have all popped up a couple of times now. For particularly the long-term, more frequent players of the game, we've cleaned those loot pools out the first time they came up, these events, and we've basically had nothing to earn from them since, so, you know, what are we going to do with that, really? I realise it's not as easy for us just churning stuff out, but there's only got so many pairs of hands, and, you know, you've got to imagine things, design them, put them into the game, etc., and there's everything else they're trying to do, but still, we're stuck in this weird kind of limbo a bit at the minute, which is not a great feeling, unfortunately, but... what can we do? Looking forward to trying out this new content. We'll have to see what happens. So, fingers crossed there's a bit more to it than meets the eye. So, on that note, thank you all for hanging out. Thank you for watching. I do hope you found this useful and informative. If you did, please do drop likes and subs for me. I very, very much appreciate it. And down below the video, as always, social media links, merch store, channel memberships, all that good stuff. If you're interested in supporting the channel that way, hugely, hugely helps out, as always. And, yeah, do keep an eye out for live streams as well. We are, of course, pottering on with 76, as we do, and we are working our way through Resident Evil 4 at the moment, and we've got some other cool stuff lined up for the summer as well, so definitely worth dropping in on the live streams as well for stuff besides Fallout as well, so I do hope I'll see you there. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you all very, very soon.